PAT is obviously up 145%. What would you say was the major change that led to this?
A number of things. First, you had the increase in oil price. There's quite a lot of our performance that's dependent on oil prices. Oil prices have firmed up in the last year, and that we've benefited from that. There's been a stability of the exchange rate as well. The stability of exchange rate has benefited us in the sense that the speculative numbers that we saw, especially at the beginning of last year or towards the end of 2016, we've been able to ride that out. And so those two things have contributed significantly. I guess the third thing that you could talk about is the level of oil production that we've been able to get. The leakages that we had in the upstream have been stemmed somewhat. So we don't have the number of disruptions in oil production that we've had historically.
Now let's talk about your upstream business. Now, you adopted a strategy where you hedge against risks, fluctuations in oil prices. Help us understand to the extent to which that has helped strengthen the business now.
We were able to benefit from the hedges that we had, and in reality, the benefit came in the main when you had oil prices at the lowest. Basically, because we had hedged at relatively high numbers at numbers that were in the 90s, in the $90 per barrel. It meant that when eventually we were able to dispose of those hedges,
not at $65 per barrel.
Because the hedges were such that you were able to get very close to $90 per barrel for the barrels that we had hedged. As against the $40 to $60 per barrel that you had at the point in time when we disposed of the hedges. That enabled us to significantly deleverage the company. We were able to pay down a significant amount of the debt that the company had at that point in time, and that was definitely.
Okay, let me just throw one more in. This time last year, there was a drop still in upstream. Your production decreased to 38,125 barrels of oil equivalent per day. We saw it higher this time, around over 39,000. But for 2016, it was as high as 49,365. But I knew that the Forcados was an issue, but that has been fixed. So this number, this 49,000, is this no chance of getting up to this number again?
My expectation is we are all hands are on deck today to ensure that we actually are north of 50,000 barrels a day of oil equivalent. And there are different initiatives that we've got between ourselves and our partners to ensure that that number is achieved. My expectation is that we would be able to get at least that number this year.
Okay, so I'll take you to a news item that was very, should I say, popular. SEC lifting the Oando technical suspension on Oando trading of Oando shares. Since then, we've seen the share price go up about 65%. How are investors feeling? How are investors feeling now, and especially now with your earnings, which seem pretty good?
It's great that we've been able to see investors stick by the company. We've gone through some very, very tough times, admittedly, but there's always been that belief, at least amongst a number of investors, a class of investors, where they believed that overall the strategic direction of the company was right. We had always spoken about the fact that we wanted to be in the upstream. We wanted to be in dollar-denominated assets. We wanted to be able to get ourselves away from over-regulated industries. And yes, things have been tough, but we can see that we are getting there, and it seems as if people like what we're doing, and that's manifesting in the share price.
Now, as part of your turnaround strategy, one of the things you decided to focus on was your gas infrastructure expansion, specifically the development of your gas-link franchise, which serves about 160 industrial and commercial customers across Lagos. Tell us about this part of the business.
Okay, well, the business is one of the things that we've had to do over the last year or two is being to get additional investors into some of our businesses. We realized the fact that the gas business would require quite a bit of investment going into the future, and so we've been able to get additional investors. We continue to be part of a strategic part of that business, and what I believe is we need to get gas. We've got quite a lot of gas in Nigeria. Why don't we just get it to the places where it's required? And we've got people as partners who believe in that strategy, and they've been able to support us with that.
So you've been awarded a new pipeline deal. And oil is high. I'm just wondering what your outlook for the rest of the year is.
The outlook for the rest of the year, from what I can see, oil prices could remain where they are, and assuming that we don't have any surprises in the Niger Delta, I think what you can expect is an improvement even from what we have in the first quarter of 2018. A significant improvement, because I think where we're at now, it's basically we stabilized, and basically let us look at the growth.
Femi, thank you so much.